Hey guys, how's it going? This is Minutes of Audio. Welcome back to another album review. This time we're reviewing Fishmonger by Underscores. Before we get into the review, remember, if you like what you listen to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Without further ado, what were your thoughts on the record, Josh?
Overall, I thought it was a solid album. It had a bunch of catchy songs, and it had a unique sound and style to it. People categorize it under the hyperpop branch, but I feel like it wasn't a just categorization of the album. I feel it's more like a hyper rock album more than anything, besides like 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah,
But,
I noticed that actually. And it was something that I guess I was a little bit not shocked by, but like surprised by, is that there's a lot of guitar in this album, especially.
good guitar too.
Because sometimes with groups that I guess you're not really expecting guitar from, sometimes it can kind of sound synthetic, or you don't even know if they're actually playing it or if it's just like something on the computer. But you could tell that whoever is doing the guitar sections on this thing, they're really like, they're not Jimmy Page or anything, but they're definitely experienced.
Yeah, they're definitely good enough to be a punk guitarist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's just talk about the album. The first song on it was a song called 70.
Yeah, it was.
This was a very low note for them to start off on.
It was because I never listened to any of their work before this record, so hearing it, I don't know. I was kind of expecting the worst. It kind of sticks in your head a little bit, but to be honest, like you said, it's kind of annoying.
It sounded like it could have been cool, but it just was the same thing for the entire song.
It felt like
And
it was
really
missing something. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It felt, yeah, it was definitely missing something, and it just didn't feel like it needed to be on the track list.
Hmm.
Like almost every other song had a similar feel to it, but this one just sounded extremely out of place and messy.
Especially as your first track, it's not a good look when your first track is the lowest point on the album.
On your debut album.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
then after that comes one of the better songs on the album,
mhm.
Secondhand Embarrassment. I love everything about that song. The vocals in the background of the instrumental, the chorus, everything. It's just a good song.
It wasn't as standout for me, but I definitely noticed a big shift in quality from 70 to Secondhand Embarrassment. Um, and it kind of makes me wonder why they didn't just start off with that track. I mean, it's
That would be a good intro track.
Right.
It just gets right into it.
it seems to get, like you said, right into what the record's about. It's really nice to listen. I mean, I thought it would have been a perfect introductory track, so it's kind of weirded out by that, but yeah, it's a solid track overall too.
And it's also the perfect length, because a lot of songs like that go on for 3 or 4 minutes,
Yeah.
but it said what it needed to and ended in 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
What was the really long track on this record?
Oh, the really long one, that
Dryland?
was Dryland. That one, the first 2 minutes of it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the last 5 minutes just should have been 30 seconds.
I don't know why they did that. It dragged on way too long.
I think they just did that to add to the atmosphere of the album, maybe.
I don't know. At least for me, it took away from the pacing. Especially like nearing
no,
the
that's-
end. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, they should have shaved that down to 30 seconds. But, what did you think of the song Bozo? Bozo, Bozo.
It's not bad. Besides 70, I don't think there's any bad song on the record. But
Besides this one,
really,
which is just average.
well, that's what I was gonna say. It's forgettable. I'm never gonna return to it, but it's not grotesque in any way.
Yeah, no, I would never listen to this song again.
it's kind of funny. The record really starts off, in my opinion, like, it starts off
Weak.
weak. Even though Secondhand Embarrassment is a good song, it still doesn't really make up for Bozo being so lackluster, and 70% being just bad. But Kinko's Field Trip, 2006, that song I love. That might be my favorite track on the record.
See, I think it just needed a little more.
Really.
I don't know. I think that song needed a little bit more to it.
Hmm.
It was good and all, but I would have enjoyed an extra 30 seconds to a minute of an additional section. But that's just a nitpicky thing. It's overall a good song.
Yeah. For me, it was when the album really kicked into full gear, and I think from there on, besides the hiccup with Dry Land, the long 5 minute hiccup, it finished
I,
fine.
I feel like this album peaks in between Kiko's Field Trip and Drylands, and
Hmm.
then once that 5 minute part hits, it starts going downhill again.
Uh,
Because the
maybe
Fish
slightly.
song I'm not a huge fan of, and Delmar County Fair.
Hmm.
I appreciate the spirit of it, but
I
it
mean,
just wasn't for me.
I thought they were good. Uh, Maybe a little forgettable. I think that might be a problem with some of the songs. They're just kind of forgettable. But I mean, maybe downhill, but only slightly. I don't think it really crashes and burns at the end.
But the obvious standout track to me on this album is your favorite Sidekick.
That was a great one.
That's another good one. 8485 really makes the song,
Mhm.
and just that was an actual hyper, or I don't know what the word, hyper pop song that turned into a rock song, which was nice.
But yeah, the guitar on that song is sick. Like you said, especially at the end when it sounds. I actually really like how they take it from because when they first introduced the guitar, um, it's almost soloed. I think it's the only really instrument playing, either that or something like small in the background. And the riff almost sounds like evil or oppressive, something you'd hear in. I mean, I don't know, like in a more darker themed track. But then all the other.
Jesus.
I don't know. If it was with Yeezus, you'd hear it with a bunch of like clanking and shit. But
It would be synth.
but then when all the other instruments and sounds come in, it takes on a totally different tone. I thought that was really creative what they did there. It was actually one of my favorite moments on the record.
And it blends together very well.
Yeah.
It sounds natural. It doesn't sound forced,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool to see them do that.
Especially,
But,
especially like we said, how so many other artists kind of have trouble making guitars sound so natural in their music when they're not really known for guitar music.
What did you think of the song "Spoiled Little Brat"?
That was another standout track, I thought. Like you said, a lot of these tracks in the middle really stand out. Yeah, Spoiled Little Brat was really catchy. That was a song I've been playing on repeat a while. Like I said, like the three songs that I mentioned, this is one of them, and like one of the three best on the record, easily. And yeah, it's really catchy. It's fun to listen to. It doesn't do anything extraordinary and mind blowing. It's just, I wouldn't say simple, but it's just a really solid track.
Yeah, the songs. I like the synth that starts it off and the little intro bit they do with the vocal clips.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that song live was very entertaining because it looks like a toddler's having a huge tantrum on stage.
You should actually.
I mean that in a positive way.
You should talk more about because you like you said you saw them live. What song specifically from because you weren't able to catch all the songs, but what song specifically from the record translated the best to a live setting?
Well, it was from what I saw at least. In what it seemed like she had the background vocal playing, so the it was like the song playing in the background
Hmm.
with live drums, and she was singing over it without any vocal effects. So like it was kind of just like listening to the song with a
Hmm.
live drummer and her singing over it. So
So you're saying it was mid. You're saying it was a bad performance.
it wasn't a bad performance.
You're
She
putting
did.
it down. You're saying that
She,
she's a bad. She's lazy. She didn't even do the vocals
no,
herself.
not at all. No, she put a lot of energy into it, but it's just hard to translate music like this to live.
Yeah.
Like the only people I've seen do it well was 100 Gex.
Well, they didn't have like the background vocals and stuff, right?
No, they just sang it with auto tune.
So they aren't lazy, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
Um,
But yeah, the best song live they did was probably Your Favorite Sidekick because everyone got hyped as fuck for it. And some of their new songs were pretty good live. I don't remember the names of them.
from
off
the
top
EP
of
or
my head,
like new songs
EP,
and they
yeah.
haven't dropped yet. Oh, gotcha.
but I think they dropped the EP while this tour began.
Oh shoot! So it was almost like the EP was for the tour, kind of.
Yeah,
That was actually really
and the
cool.
EP just does sound like this album, but a lot more completed.
Mm-hmm. It maybe it's like a song because, I mean, one of the problems I had with this record is that it wasn't consistent. But yeah, and I haven't listened to the EP yet. But if, like you said, the EP sounds more, I guess, like consistent or like fleshed out or like more what they know, more that they know what their sound is gonna be. Then I mean that spells great things for them in the future. Because I'm definitely interested to see what they're gonna do next.
I think they're gonna do some big things once they figure out their sound,
Mm-hmm.
because their style is so many people could enjoy it because it's not just hyperpop and it's not just rock.
Yeah.
Like there's a big crossover in audiences that they're gonna hit if they can find the right sound,
Yeah.
which they're already on the track.
I mean, I'm not even a huge hyperpop fan. Like, you know that. I mean, I don't dislike the genre, but I just don't listen to a lot of, I'm not listening to every new album that comes out from it. But even I was...
Only like 2 albums come out a year.
that is true. That is true.
They all release singles like their life fucking depends on it. Like, if they don't release a single every 2 weeks, they're gonna get killed. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest.
Speak your truth, alright? But yeah, like, I mean, I think that they're, I mean, like I said, I don't even listen to the genre that much, but it really appealed to me, so they're doing something right.
So, Carl, what would you say your top 3 worst songs on the album were?
The worst, shoot.
Yeah, starting off negative today.
70%, in no particular order, but 70% is the worst. We'll do it in particular
Yeah.
order. 70% is the worst. Bozo, Bozo, Bozo is the second worst. And Dryland, 2001, is the third worst. The only reason it's not second or first is just because, like you said, the first 2 minutes is pretty good.
Ooh. Mine is, in order, 70% Delmar County Fair, and then Bozo, Bozo, Bozo.
Respectable.
You think Delmar County Fair is better than Dryland?
I do. Man, Dryland was such a mood killer for me. Shit went on too
Yeah,
long.
but the first 2 minutes were so good.
But it just Delmar County Fair didn't ruin the vibe for me. I still think that was actually a decent track. Dryland just kind of it took out all the momentum Spoiled Little Brat and Your Favorite Sidekick built up right before it and just crushed it. I mean, come on, man. How you gonna do that?
You're just mad.
I am mad. I wasted 5 minutes of my damn time.
Okay, so what was your top 3 songs?
I mean, the ones I've been praising throughout the entire record. Kinko's Field Trip, 2006, Spoiled Little Brat, and Your Favorite Sidekick. I think those are 3 obvious ones.
Yeah, mine. I have 2 of the same ones.
Should be 3.
In order. Favorite Sidekicks, Secondhand Embarrassment, and then Spoiled Little Brat.
You're underrating
So-
Kinko's Field. That's
It's good, but it's
disappointment.
just not enough.
Disappointment.
That song was pretty good live too. So Carl, what would you give this album out of 10?
I feel a 7. I think a 7's fair.
I'd give this album a solid 7.5 out of 10,
Respectable.
which is a group score of 7.25. Let's go. So anyway, that was our review of Fishmonger by the Underscores. Our next videos are going to be hopefully sometime next week, depending on our schedule. It's going to be either a tier list or just a top 10 list from each of us.
Or both.
If you like, or both. Yeah, it's probably going to be both. It's most likely going to be both. But if you like what you heard, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Goodbye.
Goodbye.